now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inappropriate Movie Database, the comedy game show about content warnings. I'm your host, Nick Martucci. I'm so excited for the show tonight. This is one that, this basically feels like a no-theme episode, so we'll see how it goes. Before we get to that, if you're new here, welcome. If you like what you see, you should go and subscribe to the channel, watch some of the old episodes. We've got almost 200 of them up here, which is too many, frankly. If you watch like 10 of those, I'll love you forever. Also, if you're not a member of the Facebook page, you should join that. If you search Inappropriate Movie Database or click the link in the description of this video, that's where you can get all the information about this show, including how to be on it. We've got one more show left in July, which means I will start booking August within the next week. So if you want to be on the show, keep a lookout there. And if you're not on Facebook, we're also on Instagram and normally I say Twitter. I don't know what to say right now. X, Twitter. I'm on whatever site that is until the ship goes down completely. You can find us at IMDb Game. Also, keep mentioning on the show until it happens. If you're in the local area, September 7th at 7 p.m., it's a Thursday night, we are doing this show live in person in Lawrence, Massachusetts. We've got a great lineup for that show, including just confirmed Mr. Josh Poirier.
Hey.
As well as Josh Pick, Rachel Dunbar, Elsie Clark, Tyler Tuttle, Maxwell Schultz. It's just going to be a fun time. I want you to come up. Tickets available now. They are limited. If you want to come, please buy them. That is September 7th, 7 p.m. in Lawrence, Massachusetts. You can get that info on any of the socials as well. Now let's jump into the show portion of this show. If you've been watching recently, you know that starting this month, and I will continue this, the winner of this and every episode has an optional prize they can choose from. They can make me watch a movie within the week. Last week, spoiler alert, returning champion Marty Viscosi assigned me the 1985 movie Desert Hearts, which I watched the next day. That was on HBO Max. I still call it HBO Max. And what is it? Helen Shaver and I'm gonna screw up this last name. Patricia Charbonneau?
Sure.
It is a lesbian love story. It's made in the 80s, set in the 50s. Spoiler alert, but I think this is a great spoiler that will make you watch the movie. The lesbians get to stay alive and in love. Which is just a delight. The movie
in an 80s movie set in the 50s?
Right?
It's based off a book that came out in the 50s.
That's amazing.
It's one of like the first examples of like a happy ending for a lesbian book.
I'm
pleasantly surprised by that.
I really liked how they handled a lot of that. You know, there's some pushback from some people, there's little from other people. The chemistry between the leads off the charts. Like I will say it takes a little while for it to kind of get moving. There's maybe 20, 30 minutes where it's like, well, this is pretty good. But once they start to accept what's going on, just so beautiful and bittersweet and sexy, like a real, one of the better sex scenes I've seen in a movie. If that interests you. Marty, thank you for that. Go see Desert Hearts if you haven't.
I'm so glad you liked it. Reading your Letterboxd review, I was like, yeah, I did a good job.
You didn't make me watch the what is it? Dragon, dinosaur, unicorn?
Serendipity the Pink Dinosaur?
I got it. So we'll see where we go with that tonight. Tonight on the show, we're doing movies that... on Rotten Tomatoes, these movies, either critics have it at fresh, audiences have it at rotten, or vice versa. just contentious movies. One side liked it, one side didn't like it. We'll see if that helps anybody. But let's jump into the show. I don't have a mini game to start off the show tonight. I could not think of one. So we're just going to do 12 movies with a little mini game in between. Let's bring in the guests. Joining me on the show tonight are Josh Poirier, Kari Taylor, Lloyd Legacy Sharp, and Marty Viscosi. Welcome, everybody.
What's up, Nick?
Hello.
Let's start off with returning champion. Marty, welcome back to the show.
Hey.
I noticed as I was doing that you were like midway through that drumstick there.
I'm having a delightful time. Hot girl summer,
I mean,
Nick.
those are some of the best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're
All
not
be
at
great
Choco
ones, too.
Taco, but then Choco Taco doesn't exist anymore.
I am discovering recently that apparently the term chip witch for like the ice cream treat with cookies is a regional term.
Really?
Yeah, neither my friends nor my work children knew what I was talking about.
I thought it was like a brand name. I thought that
Same.
was like a trademark thing.
Yeah, apparently it's just an ice cream sandwich out here.
But how do you specify whether it's an ice cream sandwich with the chocolate wafery or
That's what
an
I
actual
fucking
cookie?
said. How do you, Kari?
I mean,
Good enough answer.
I've heard of Chipwich. I know people call it like an ice cream sandwich, but I think Chipwich is probably more appropriate. So maybe
you.
I'm the weird outlier. Maybe like the Twin Cities didn't get it, but like redneck northwestern Minnesota got Chipwich. I don't know.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me as a friend.
Let's do it this way. If you are in the Midwest or further west, the Midwest or the far west, leave a comment if you know what a chipwich is. I mean, you know now from context clues, but I'm curious. Now that we've talked ice cream, Marty, I forget, we did like a Rotten Tomatoes type episode before. I can't remember who was on it. So this question I might be asking you again or for the first time. What is a movie that either you love that you think people don't like, or you don't like that you think people love? Either of those.
This is not the question I was expecting, nor the question I Googled for.
Okay, well, after this, tell me what that was.
Sure. A movie that I like that I don't expect anybody to like as much as I do is For Sure Sinister 2. I don't know. There's a lot of movies that I don't like that people like, and I don't want to list them for reasons.
Some people like the negativity, some people don't.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies that I hate.
I will say Sinister 2 on Rotten Tomatoes. Audiences do like it more. Critics have it at 14%, audiences at 31%.
Hey, I'll take those. 16. But yeah, the question I thought you were going to ask was what's a movie you like that they disagree on? And I had my answer ready for that.
All right, tell me that then. I didn't expect
me.
anybody to do that kind of research.
The Witch. I was very, very
still
surprised.
Haven't seen The Witch.
Oh, it's a delight, and it takes place pretty much in the Merrimack Valley.
It's it's one of those movies that I think I will either love or be very bored by, and I just haven't, gone for it yet.
I love it. I love every minute of it. I think it's very pretty. As like a historical nerd, I think it's really like super well done. I like that it pretty much takes place in like Methuen, and like I don't know. I didn't really like Methuen until I left it, but like I like a lot of things about it from like a historical perspective, and it's also just like I feel like a really good example of like that very specific brand of like dread and like religious horror that I think it does like isolation and dread like super, super well.
I love a good dread movie. On the other hand, most religious horror doesn't hit for me. I mean, somebody has something to say. So, Marty, welcome back. Let's welcome back somebody who I think still has the record of most appearances, but we haven't seen his face in a while. Welcome back, Josh Poirier.
How's it going, Nick? What I said was I said Dread rules because Dread does rule. Judge Dredd, that is.
Judge Dredd. I'm glad you chipped in with that. You chip-witched in. Josh, how are you?
Good, man. I got my Chris Cornell hair for some reason.
So we're not doing Danzig anymore?
No. It's too curly now. It's Chris Cornell's circumpound motor finger.
Well, Josh, I know you jumped into this episode within the last hour or two, so I don't expect you to have any knowledge as to what's going on tonight. But is there a movie you want to recommend that you think people don't like, or vice versa, whatever you want to tell you?
I can tell you one that I hate that everybody loves.
Yes.
Forrest Gump.
I am right there with you.
I can't stand it. Cannot stand Forrest Gump.
Mm-hmm.
It was just schmaltzy and just over emotional, and
it's real boomer porn.
Yeah, it is. It was really bad. I'm trying to think of one that I love that everybody hates.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a whole lot. I mean, I love, like, I gotta admit, I do love, like, Jason X.
Jason X. Well, no, it's right. I was thinking for a second, Freddy versus Jason.
Well, Freddy versus Jason is also the one that a lot of people hate that I do like. And
Freddy versus Jason is great. Jason X, I agree with everyone else.
it had two great scenes in it that I love. The kill with the liquid nitrogen, and then when Jason gets put in the holodeck, that was hilarious.
Yeah, one of the best scenes of the movie is a fake scene outside of the premise of the movie.
Maybe it's because I saw it in the theater. Like, I actually saw it in the theater when it came out. And it was fond memories. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, Jason X, 19 critic, 25 audience.
See, better. You see, the audiences loved it better.
Freddy versus Jason, 42 critic, 50 audience.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one that I think people need to go back to.
Yeah, it actually, I mean, it's set up so well in Jason Goes to Hell. the only reason to watch that movie is for the very last scene.
And just to clear this up, Forrest Gump, 71 critic, 95 audience.
Jesus Christ!
And
why?
every single time a person says they love that movie, I assume they're joking, but people love that movie.
I don't know why. I really don't know why.
You don't want to think that Elvis learned how to dance by making fun of a crippled child?
Yeah, I mean, there's that was the best part of the movie, but
yeah.
Anyways, Forrest Gump.
Well, Josh, welcome back.
Yeah.
Also returning to the show, a new friend here. So happy that she keeps coming back to the show. Kari Taylor, welcome back.
It's good to be back.
How you doing tonight, Kari?
I'm doing fine and dandy.
Great. Well, Kari, you've had a little time to think now. Is there a movie you would like to contribute to this terrible question I've posed?
Yeah. So I think the first movie I thought of, at least in regards to like a movie that like everyone else loves or like critics really love that I absolutely hated, was I watched the movie last year, Leaving Las Vegas, as part of the like Nick Cage movie marathon that a local theater was having, and he was great in it. I fucking hated that movie.
I don't know that I hated it, but I was real disappointed with it.
Yes. I mean, the biggest thing for me was just the music.
Same.
I hated the soundtrack. Absolutely hated it.
It's so invasive to the movie.
And like, yeah, Nick Cage did a great job. Definitely, like, probably earned that Oscar that he got. But everything else was just
And I
Like,
love Elizabeth Shue too, and just
yeah,
it
yeah.
didn't hit for me.
Yeah, so absolutely hated that movie. But yeah, and I mean, I guess if we're doing both, one of my like all-time favorite movies
Uh-huh.
is Josie and the Pussycats, and I looked it up
Right.
earlier, and the surprisingly critic score and audience score are pretty like neck and neck in like the 50s, but it's
They're
like
all it's a masterpiece.
incorrect.
That
Yes.
movie walked so Barbie
That's
could
true
run.
cinema.
It
True
is.
cinema.
I was blown away. I saw that movie for the first time, I think, a couple of years ago, and just fucking blown away by it.
Yeah, that was a constant, a pretty regular rental for me, like in middle school.
That makes, growing up, it obviously wasn't a movie that I'm like, oh, I need to see the Josie and the Pussycats movie. And then I heard the reputation of it. And then I sat down and watched it, and everybody's wrong.
Yeah, that movie is probably why I'm like a socialist. So, and gay.
Yeah. Speaking of movies like that, I just rewatched a Very Brady sequel. And
Oh yes,
I remember, I really like the Brady Bunch movie, and it's been like 15 years since I'd seen the sequel. Also, kind of a masterpiece.
The sequel's the one where Carol's ex-husband comes back. Okay, yep.
Everybody in that movie deserved an Oscar. I don't understand the actress who plays Jan. I don't understand how she didn't get whiplash during that movie, because she walks in a way that her hair just constantly bounces back and forth with every step. I would say good triple feature right there. In fact, throw Josie right in the middle. Give yourself a Brady Josie sandwich of 90s adaptations of 70s shows that are way funnier than they have any right to be. Well, Kari, welcome back. Finally returning to the show. Always a thrill, everyone's favorite. Lloyd, Legacy Shark, welcome back.
Hello.
Hey, Lloyd, how you doing in your disco arena? You've got the Blade Runner 2020 whatever lights.
It's the one thing I miss about the lockdowns. I can't take these lights with me.
No. Well, Lloyd, it's good to see you again. We got you on twice this month. That hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah.
Well, Lloyd, question goes to you now.
Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. I know a lot of your strongest opinions. I don't know if either of those are I think people dislike the movies you dislike, and they like the movies you like. I don't know as many of the movies you like, but you're very vocal on the ones you don't like.
Oh, yeah.
So I've given you enough of a lead up. Do you have anything you want to throw at us?
Yeah, I got a few. I'll try to run through. I got 3 examples for dislike to like, and 2 examples on the other. Let's start positively.
Yes.
Movies that I like that other people seem to not like.
Yes.
And I'm not going to say love, because I don't love these movies, but I do like them a lot more than other people, seemingly.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, the Twilight series.
Really?
Now, I don't like the Twilight series as a vampire movie, because I watched True Blood and The Vampire Diaries, and after you watch both of those, Twilight is unbearable. However, take the vampire element out of it, and Twilight is an okay story. Aside from the fact that I don't think the girl needs to be defined by either team. If I separate the vampires from the characters, I can enjoy...
You mean like society?
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair analysis. Fair stripping of all the window dressing.
I will say, that is the first movie recommended that fits this theme tonight. Critics have it at 49%, audiences at 72%.
72%?
Yeah. Because
I hate everything that about Twilight that people hate about it.
Mhm.
But if I separate the vampire element, I actually enjoy the story.
I mean, that's great. You continue to surprise me.
The other movie that I like that other people don't seem to like as much is Batman Forever.
I rewatched that again recently too, and it's very close to being kind of good.
Batman Forever had the unfortunate task of having to follow Batman and Batman Returns, which isn't fair. It's like John Cena having to follow The Rock and Stone Cold. How? You're not going to be as good or as memorable as the first two, even if you're good on your own. And yeah, I do think that Tommy Lee Jones just basically played a broke Jack Nicholson's Riddler as Two-Face.
I mean, both villains are the Joker in that movie.
Joker, yeah, right. I think Jim Carrey actually did pretty well as the Riddler, but I think that Tommy Lee Jones was just. But compared to the one that came after it, I can't say that I love Batman Forever. I just don't hate it.
Growing up, that was my Batman movie because I was 6 when that came out, so I was a little too young for the Burton ones. But this one just loved it as a kid. And going back, there's some you know what I think would have saved that movie, and they wouldn't have done it at that time? Nicole Kidman should have been playing Harleen Quinzel.
Yeah.
She is a psychiatrist who's trying to get into the mind of Batman, and is just a one-off character. If she was Harleen Quinzel, and then the next movie you bring the Joker back, and then you do that story. But you know, it was the 90s. We didn't do things with superhero movies yet.
Yeah, unfortunately not. And like I said, I get why people don't like Batman Forever because it followed 2 Batmans that couldn't be followed. But I mean, on its own, in a vacuum, I think it's fine. Now, movies that I don't like that everybody else seems to like. The first one is one that has kind of, at the time, people loved it and I didn't like it. Over time, for different reasons, people have kind of started to side with me. Titanic. I saw Titanic when I was I saw Titanic when I was really young, and even then, I didn't like it because I didn't see the point. I knew what was going to happen at the end because I paid attention in history class, and the story that was built up around it. Then, and I rewatched it as an adult because I try not to be biased. It wasn't just a melodramatic piece cashing in on a 1912 tragedy. I didn't get it. Everybody, when I was younger, everybody loved, oh, Lloyd, you're dumb. You just don't appreciate good movies. And you're just stupid. You're a dumb kid. And now it's like, Titanic wasn't all that good. Now people get it. It wasn't that great.
See, I think James Cameron is fantastic with action. Very funny when he wants to be in comedy. I do not think he knows how to handle drama. And that's sort of where he's fallen. I haven't been able to sit through all of Titanic, and I probably won't unless an angry contestant wins this show on an episode that I mention it on. But that's a fair and brave choice.
The second one that I don't like, that everyone seems to like, Star Wars Attack of the Clones.
I do not think everybody likes that. I think
not everybody. You're right about that. But when I mention that I don't like Star Wars Attack of the Clones, I get more pushback on that than I would think I would from Star Wars fans. I'm thinking, I'm a Star Wars fan. I've seen all the movies. If you're a Star Wars fan, you got to agree. Star Wars Attack of the Clones, compared to the rest of them, should not have fucking happened. If it was a standalone, if there was anything to compare it to, maybe. But if you've seen Star Wars, you should not want Attack of the Clones. And the amount of this that I get back from Star Wars fans,
the redemption of the prequels over the last 10 years has been so weird to watch.
Because of children.
No, it's not.
I'm insisting on this.
Yeah.
My 10-year-old nephew once tried to tell me like 2 months ago that Revenge of the Sith was best the third episode 3 was the best. And he also liked Attack of the Clones. So that leads me to think, are you just telling Lloyd, are you just telling people that you don't like it and it's their children?
Yeah. Well, here's the other. This is another movie that fits the theme tonight. Critics gave it 65, audiences 56. It's real close, but it falls over that edge.
Yeah.
Real quick, what's the third one? We should get this game moving on.
You know what? Why don't we just leave it there?
All right. Well, that is a whole bunch of movie recommendations and unrecommendations for you. Like I said, we got no minigame to start off this game. We're going through 12 movies tonight. Like I said, we got a minigame in between. We got the final question at the end. I did do both of those. If you're new to the show, here's how this is going to work. I have gone to IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, and I have pulled parental warnings for a bunch of movies. My document right now just hit over 1,500 movies, which is too many. My ADD neurodivergent brain really latched onto this in the last 2 years. So I've picked these parental warnings. I don't write them. Anonymous weirdos on the internet write them. I just steal them and read them to my friends, and they try to guess what the movie is based on these warnings.
Anonymous weirdos, and also Josh Poirier.
One clue.
So since we're not doing that mini game, let's just go in the alphabetical order, which means, Josh, you get to pick the first year of the night.
Yay, Josh.
Would you like a movie from 1978, 1995, or 2009?
Let's go with 95.
95.
I just got to tell you something real quick.
Yes.
I might be a little altered state right now because I just looked up at the TV screen. I've got ESPN on. There was a UFC fight, Poirier's fighting, and I was like, wow, was I good in that fight?
Nice.
I will, aside from that, this is one of the few times that your name change has made me giggle. That's a good one. Fits the meter and everything. All right, first movie of the night from 1995 for 5 points under the category of alcohol, drugs, and smoking. A child smokes a cig while another child drinks champagne.
1995.
1995.
I was thinking it was.
Wow.
All right, for 4 points under the category of violence and gore. Many people shout and yell with harsh language, particularly the main character, Ted.
Oh, God. And it's too early for the bear.
The FX show? For 3 points under sex and nudity. A man walks into a room and is accused by another man of sleeping with his wife. It's eventually implied that the whole thing is a sex game. The second man kisses the original man and then tries to persuade him to have sex with his wife. There's an implication he might have had sex with the man, and he may be bisexual.
Okay.
Sure.
For 2 points under frightening and intense scenes, a man must light his cigarette lighter 10 times in a row in order to win a car. If he fails, he gets his fingers chopped off.
Oh, wait. What?
Josh is going back and forth in a way that I feel like he knows what the movie is.
I think I do. Not sure, though.
All right. For 1 point under sex and nudity. In the first story, several women gather around and perform a ritual. 2 of them are topless, and the scene goes on for maybe 2 minutes or so. Not much focus is put onto the woman's breasts. However, later they perform another ritual and are all completely clothed except for one girl who has black tape over her nipples. One woman places a tip for the bellhop in her cleavage.
Yep.
He sheepishly walks over and removes it.
Son
We've
of a
got
bitch.
2 hands up. Kari, what do you think this movie is?
I think it's 4 rooms.
Josh, what do you think?
It's 4 rooms.
It is 4 rooms.
Wow.
Critics gave that movie 47%. Audiences 82%.
But audiences were still for that movie. It's not a great movie by any means, but
There
audiences were
are
still
yeah,
they're still riding high on the Pulp Fiction,
at
thing.
least half the movie is good.
but they were still riding high on the Pulp Fiction thing and multiple stories in a
Mhm.
movie. And
Like it's if you haven't seen it, it's a movie. It's got 4 directors, 4 different stories,
4 different directors, 4 stories,
all connected by Tim Roth as the bellhop of a hotel.
It's amazing.
Really?
One of them, I will say, I think the best one is the Tarantino one at the end, which
Yes.
I want to say, is it a Roald Dahl story
I think
that
so.
he's doing, where it's taking a bet, and if you lose, something bad happens to you.
Yeah, I think it is. Although I did like Rodriguez's story too, the misbehaviors.
Rodriguez, the story is also good. Robert Rodriguez, and then I forget the 2 other directors.
Allison Anders and Alexander Rockwell.
Thank you, Josh. He's looking it up right now.
Well, I just forgot all about the movie, and you just reminded me of how much I want to see that movie again.
It's worth checking out. I don't know if it's good, but it's worth checking out.
For the 2 stories, it definitely is worth checking out.
I kind of like the witch story at the beginning too. It goes on a little long, but who is it? Ione Skye is in that.
Yes, she is.
Well, that puts Josh and Kari in the lead, 1 each. Lloyd and Marty 0 each, but you're both in second place.
Any day on
Kari,
time
you
with
get to
Marty
pick
is
this
the
movie.
best day of my life.
Kari, would you like a movie from 1991, 2005, or 2017?
I want to go with 91.
91.
Good year.
All
Yeah,
right,
I mean,
19
year I was born, might as well.
Nick, I just
19.
realized when you said you were going in alphabetical order, the initials of everybody in this call are JKLMN.
That is, it's an alphabet.
Mm-hmm.
The best part.
We're the alphabet mafia. You could call us that. 1991 for 5 points under frightening and intense scenes. There are many scenes that play out like an odyssey. So, while it's not particularly frightening, it can be very surreal and uncomfortable at times.
They play out like a what?
An odyssey.
An odyssey.
Yeah, I can't explain that any further.
There's so many nouns in the world.
Not very
Josh, what do you think this
frightening, but
movie is?
surreal.
Actually, I don't think it's the right year. I'm going to pass. I don't think it's the
Okay,
right year.
great. For 4 points under sex and nudity, a man and a woman cut each other's hands, then proceed to have graphic sex while he gets on top of her and begins to thrust her. This scene is brief.
Oh, it's
They
definitely
had to cut their hands first?
They cut their hands first.
I know a TV show where that happened.
Where were they having sex in 1991? The Gulf War?
Exactly. That's the only place you cut your hands.
How would you have sex? Oh, I don't get that.
For 3 points under sex and nudity, some female nudity is shown in the background of their concerts.
Of their concerts?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's a band theme. I don't know.
For 2 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, there are a lot of scenes depicting drug use, such as LSD, cocaine, peyote, and pot. In many scenes, the main character is obviously high on drugs or is drunk. We got 3 hands up, everyone but Lloyd. Lloyd's also going to guess. Lloyd, what do you think this movie is?
I'm probably wrong, but given the nature of the main character, is this The Doors?
Marty, what do you think?
I'm so undecided, but I'll feel like a coward if I don't go for it. This is Velvet Goldmine.
Josh, what do you think?
Doors.
Kari, what do you think?
I think it's The Doors.
All right.
Marty, unfortunately, this movie is The Doors. 57% critic, 79% audience.
The main character, usually drunk or high, Jim Morrison.
Last clue in that frightening and intense scenes. There's one scene where Jim throws a television at his friends, but they dodge quickly. The scene is quite intense and does not have any injuries after. Lloyd, is your favorite Batman?
It was my favorite Jim Morrison.
Which one is the mask, Jim Morrison or Bruce Wayne?
That means Josh and Kari remain tied at 3 each. Lloyd at 2, Marty at -1. Lloyd, you get to pick this one. Would you like a movie from 1995, 2004, or 2011?
Wow. Polarizing movies. What was this the second one again?
Second one was 2004.
Yeah, 2004.
All right.
Because everything was polarizing in 2000.
Yeah, what do you mean? The world was great. The country was great.
Oh, yeah. Post 9/11 syndrome, Florida voting machines, everything was on the level.
Okay. 2004 for 5 points under sex and nudity. All of the nudity in the movie comes from one character. She apparently doesn't always like to wear a shirt and is shown topless frequently. It's never sexual, though. Her breasts and nipples are seen about 4 to 6 times from varying distances with varying levels of clarity. Her breasts and nipples are clearly visible in some scenes, though.
You repeat the year?
2004.
2004.
You're very good at listening tonight.
For 4 points. Oh, Kari has a guess. What do you think, Kari?
Is this not another teen movie?
Oh, that is a great fucking guess. It is not another teen movie.
It was a sequel, not another teen movie.
4 points. Violence and gore. A man is seen in the water with a pool of blood around him. He is fine, but he says that his friend was eaten by a shark.
Oh, boy. 2004.
For 3 points under frightening and intense scenes. The ship is taken over and the crew is held hostage. Some might find this scene intense.
2004?
2004. For 2 points under profanity, Bill Murray's character calls Jeff Goldblum's character a slur. It is hard to hear, though. Got 2 hands up. Anybody else?
Oh, God damn it.
Back and forth between the two of you. Kari, what do you think?
I think it's... I want to say it's The Life Aquatic of Steve Zissou, but I'm not sure now.
Josh, what do you think?
Is The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou?
This is The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Oh, man, I wouldn't have guessed that.
57% critic, 82% audience. I would have thought that would be reversed.
Yeah, I would have thought so too. I wasn't a huge fan of that movie.
I figured critics love Wes Anderson and audiences can go either way with him.
Yeah. I wasn't the biggest fan of that particular film in his filmography.
Last clue under profanity. There's around 12 uses of fuck. With this film being the most of any Wes Anderson movie has had until Grand Budapest Hotel.
It was at 13?
I remember, Grand Budapest Hotel, I think, is top 3 for me on Wes Anderson. But then 4 is way far down.
Yeah, definitely. Like I enjoyed him with Bottle Rocket. Like I love Bottle Rocket. I thought Bottle Rocket was a fantastic indie film when he first came out. And then he, a couple films of his went by, and I was like, I don't know if I like him as much as I did first.
Yeah, I'm very similar. That means Josh at 5, Kari at 4, Lloyd at 2, Marty at -1.
How do I have more points than Marty?
Because you got one right and Marty did not.
That's not supposed to happen on this show.
By the way, on the UFC, I've taken him to the 3rd round.
Oh, hell yeah, congrats. Let's do one more and then play that mini game. Marty, would you like a movie from 1978, 2006, or 2013?
How do I have more points than
We're
Marty?
2013.
2013.
Someone's not right in the universe. I have more points than Marty.
You got time to make up for it and correct this wrong you apparently think
It's very long.
Yeah.
I don't feel right about this. I don't want to go
Or
to
you
sleep
should
tonight.
win this episode, Lloyd. It's been a while since a Lloyd win.
I mean, it has, but if I'm on an episode with Marty and I win, that's also not good or correct.
If I put myself in the bottom, I assure you it's despite my best fucking efforts. So
is that listed on your dating profile?
Oh! Wow.
Nick, I have never been so fucking red. So fucking clearly.
When Nick is trying to take control back of the show, he knows exactly what to say.
2013, Nicholas.
2013 for 5 points under violence and gore. A man jumps on a trash can for his life, but his backpack drops first, closing the trash can before he lands on it. Played for laughs.
2013.
2013. For 4 points under sex and nudity, a family the protagonists camp with confess to being swingers, which results in a scene of many sex references and some groping.
Oh, no.
I'm now remembering that I was too poor to see movies this year, but I definitely know of this movie.
What year was this again?
2013. Kari, what do you think?
Is this We Are the Millers?
This is We Are the Millers.
Oh, God, thank goodness. I'm glad it's not what I thought it was.
What did you think it was?
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
Not yet.
Other clues than that, under sex and nudity, a character is bitten by a spider on his nether regions. There's multiple shots of his prosthetic penis and crude references from the other 3 protagonists. These jokes also continue in the hospital. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. The plot of this movie is largely to do with smuggling drugs. Marijuana is shown stuffed in all the cabinets and drawers in the RV. Many scenes of smoking as well. And sex and nudity. Aniston's character is working and dancing within a strip club. She's scantily clad, but nothing can be seen. Other girls, however, are briefly nude. No female nudity, despite the context of the strip club.
See, the movie I was thinking of, if this is a show based on polarizing films, there's a chance the movie I was thinking of might turn up later. But if it doesn't, I'll tell you what it was.
Okay, I look forward to it. Also, that is 49% by critics, 72% by audiences. That brings Kari to 8, Josh to 5, Lloyd to 2, Marty at -1.
It's not right.
Let's go to this mini game. This is a multiple choice one. You've all done it, but just to let people know, I'm going to ask one person multiple choice question. If they get it right, they get 4 points. If not, next person can guess for 3. Next person can guess for 2. Last person gets 1 point if they remember the remaining answer. Marty, because you're in last place, I'm going to go to you first.
That doesn't make sense.
All of these are the same question. I've picked 4 actors, and I want you to tell me Which of these 4 movies is that actor's biggest Rotten Tomato difference? So which one has the highest percentage between audiences and critics? Marty, the first actor is Margot Robbie. Which of these Margot Robbie movies is the most divisive? Is it Amsterdam, The Legend of Tarzan, Suicide Squad, or Z for Zachariah?
Only heard of one of those things.
Big Z for Zachariah fan.
You know it, right below Sinister 2. I'm gonna go with Suicide Squad because it's the one I know.
You would think that too. 32% difference between audience and critics, but that is the second most divisive. Kari, you're left with Josh. I'm going to go Josh next. Josh, you're left with Amsterdam, Legend of Tarzan, or Z for Zachariah.
Go with Legend of Tarzan.
Legend of Tarzan is incorrect. Kari, Amsterdam, or Z for Zachariah?
I think I'm gonna do Z for Zachariah because I've never heard of it. So like, why else would it be on this list?
78% critic, 45% audience, difference of 33%. That is the movie. 2 points to Kari. I've seen Z for Zachariah. I cannot tell you what that movie's about. I can't tell you. I think Chris Pine is also in it. I saw it when it came out, and that was probably close to 10 years ago. No idea what it's about, but that's 2 points to Kari.
In England, it'd be Z for Zachariah.
It sure would. Josh, same question, but for Mr. Ryan Gosling. Which of these movies has the highest difference? The Gray Man, The Notebook, Stay, or The United States of Leland?
Go with The Notebook.
I was surprised to learn The Notebook, 54% by critics, 85% by audiences, but not The Notebook. That's the lowest one in here.
I love The Notebook.
Kari, The Gray Man, Stay, or The United States of Leland?
Gray Man?
The Gray Man has a 44% difference, 46 by critics, 90 by audiences, still lower than the biggest one. Lloyd, Stay, or The United States of Leland?
United States of Leland?
47% difference, 34 critic, 81 audience. It is the United States of Leland. That's
well, I was right.
Points to Lloyd. Yes, you
what?
were.
How? That's the most divisive. Wow. Okay.
All right. Kari, you get to start this one. Will Ferrell, which of these movies?
Wow.
Daddy's Home 2, The Ladies' Man, A Night at the Roxbury, or Old School?
I feel like it's Night at the Roxbury. I know so many people that love that movie.
Which is weird because it's not great, and I remember liking it as a child. 11% critical, 69% audience, 58% difference. That is 4 points to Kari.
Cool. I was more amazed that it's a 69% audience score.
That's nice.
It
is.
All right, to finish off this themed, Lloyd, and I'm just talking about acting appearances, not directorial efforts. Which of these movies from Greta Gerwig has the biggest difference? Damsels in Distress, Greenberg, LOL, or Wiener Dog?
Oh my God. My head says the hell with the head. My heart says LOL.
LOL is her highest ranked acting movie, 100% by critics, 33% by audiences, a difference of 67%. Lloyd, that is 4 points to you.
Oh my God! Wow! 100 to 30. Wow.
What I learned is, at least as an actor, critics love Greta Gerwig. Audiences do not like Greta Gerwig.
I didn't know it was that. I didn't know it was that bad. I know. Polarizing. I know. I didn't know it was that. Wow. Wow. Okay.
Wiener Dog, by the way, a movie that I think not enough people know about because it's not totally great, but has some good stuff in it, including a mini sequel to Welcome to the Dollhouse. It is a Todd Solondz movie with a bunch of stories related to this wiener dog, and one of them is revisiting Don Wiener. But there's a story in there with Danny DeVito that is excellent and worth watching if you can stomach a Todd Solondz movie.
And while you're at it, why don't you just go back and watch every episode of Nickelodeon Wienerville? That was a time to be alive.
I loved Wienerville.
I did too.
You can go on his website. He has a merch store.
He does? Oh, shit.
Boney was very anti-Trump, which is great. Go look up Wienerville and Mark Wiener. I don't know why we don't talk more about him.
He was awesome.
That means our scores are now Kari at 14, Lloyd at 8, Josh at 5, Marty at -1.
What?
But don't worry, we still have like a bunch of movies to go. We still have 8 movies to go. Let's run through these. Kari, because you're in the lead and tied with Lloyd for the most points in that round, I'm going to let you pick the next year. Kari, would you like a movie from 1967, 2001, or 2013?
2001.
2001.
Oh, what a year.
Yeah, I'll never forget that year.
No, that's the year Shrek came out.
Yeah,
I'll never forget Stone Cold turning heel either. It was a terrible tragedy.
I forget who said it, but there was a tweet at one point that said the happiest time in a millennial's life was the 6 months between when Shrek came out and 9/11.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
There's something to that.
Yeah.
last time I felt alive.
All
Sounds
right.
about right.
2001 for 5 points under sex and nudity. A man pretends to be a flasher, opening his trench coat, but he's wearing underwear.
2001.
Josh has a guess. Anybody else?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Josh?
Wet Hot American Summer?
It is not Wet Hot American Summer. Which, completely unfairly has like a 33% critical rating on Rotten Tomatoes and is one of the greatest comedies of all time.
Based on that,
for good taste.
Based on that first clue and the year it is, I would say Grand Theft Auto 3 if I knew that wasn't a video game.
Are people pretending to flash in Grand Theft Auto?
They're not pretending. Fair enough.
For 4 points under frightening and intense scenes, the main characters are in danger of losing their jobs throughout the film.
Could you repeat that? Sorry.
The main characters are in danger of losing their jobs throughout the film.
I didn't know middle class America.
Not Wet Hot American Summer.
No, for some reason, none of them are in danger of losing their jobs.
As a youth worker,
I guess technically they might be in danger of losing the camp until they help save Sputnik or whatever.
2001. Those movies didn't happen in 2001.
For 3 points under violence and gore, Farva gets into a schoolyard-style tussle with a fast food employee.
with a what?
A fast food employee. Farva gets into a schoolyard-style tussle. For 2 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, Three young men believe they are being pulled over by the cops while smoking a joint. One of them eats a bag of pot and a bag of shrooms, while another throws a bag out the window. That same boy is shown tripping on the shrooms when the cops show up.
No.
For 1 point under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, all 5 patrolmen and their captain get drunk and act disorderly in public. They continue drinking bottles of beer while driving. The 2 people you would expect have their hands up. Anybody else?
Mm-hmm.
Josh, what do you think?
Super Troopers.
Kari, what do you think?
You know, it's one of my favorite ABBA songs, but Super Troopers.
Super Trooper is an amazing ABBA song in a movie I dislike. This is Super Troopers. 36% critical, 90% audience.
Wow. Critics are hard to please, aren't they?
I agree with the critics.
I like it. I mean, I have a soft spot for Jay Chandrasekhar films.
Also, a surprising role for Brian Cox.
Yes, very much so.
Kari at 15, Lloyd at 8, Josh at 5, Marty at -1 still. Lloyd, would you like a movie from 1978, 2004, or 2012?
What I'd like is to know how I'm ahead of Marty at this point in the game, but
because you
since
keep
that's
getting
not
points,
possible,
Lloyd, how about you pick a year?
even that doesn't make sense given my history, but I'll take 2012.
2012. All right, 2012 for 5 points under sex and nudity. A young woman draws a heart with the words, quote, "I want penis" in it, and then kisses it.
Wow.
For 4 points under frightening and intense scenes, the overall tone of the movie is very dark and foreboding. All of the party scenes involve extremely reckless and dangerous behavior and is portrayed in a very dark and negative light.
I'm sorry, what was the year again?
2012.
Okay.
The year we all died.
If only.
For 3 points under sex and nudity, 2 young women shove 2 pistols in a man's mouth and he pantomimes oral sex onto the guns. Kari, real definitively buzzing in there. Anybody else? No, Lloyd?
No.
All right. Kari, why don't you say what the movie is?
Is this Spring Breakers?
Lloyd, get ready to yell. This is Spring Breakers, 67% critics, 38% audiences. I believe Lloyd brought that up in the last episode of this show.
That was it. That was the movie I was thinking of earlier. I told you it was going to come up.
And I was so ready for you to guess it because I assumed that's what you were alluding to.
I think that's the only thing. That's the only reason why I thought it was that, because of your rant the last time I was on the show with you. I've never seen that movie.
I always get the year wrong. Yeah, exactly.
The other clues: sex and nudity. Throughout the film, characters are wearing as little clothing as possible due to the film being set on and close to various beaches. Women wear revealing bikinis and men don't wear shirts for much of the movie. And violence and gore: 3 young women put on ski masks and they drive into a diner where one remains in the car. Well, we see from the outside the other 2 inside threatening the patrons and staff and stealing money. One wields a sledgehammer and breaks furniture, while the other carries a realistic-looking toy water gun. We later see the robbery scene again from inside the restaurant. Everything about this movie sounds like it should be good.
You know the movie wasn't good because midway through it, Selena Gomez literally left. She didn't want to be a part of it, and she was in the film. And halfway, nah, I'm out of here. This is bullshit. End the story.
That is such a good point.
Story.
Halfway through the movie, Selena Gomez's character is just like, all right, bye.
Yeah.
Never seen in the rest of the movie.
I feel like that was blurring the lines between reality and fiction, because in real life, Selena Gomez was, at least in her perception publicly, was not about that life before Justin Bieber. So I feel like that was just written in to keep her public image okay.
All right, that means Kari is up to 18, Lloyd at 8, Josh at 5, Marty at -1. Marty, you get to pick this next one. Hopefully this allows you to join the game again. Marty, would you like a movie from 1980, 2008, or 2023?
I'm gonna go 2023.
Oh my God, too close.
All right.
Listen,
Here's a movie
being on the
that
bottom's
came.
a sad place.
Here's a movie that came out at some point in the last 8 months for 5 points under violence and gore. A lot of fighting with guns, spears, knives, futuristic weapons, blasters that send people flying or knock them down, but little to no gore. Marty has a guess. Anybody else? Marty, what do you think?
Purely based on vibes, the Avatar Way of the Water.
That one came in just under the wire in 2022.
All
It
right,
is not Avatar.
not a mather. Like,
For 4 points under profanity, during a scene where a character kept multiplying, every time he multiplied, he yelled in a confused, scared voice, "What the hell?" All right, we got 2 hands up. Josh, what do you think?
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Kari, what do you think?
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I think that's the title.
That is the title, and that is the movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. 47% critical, 83% audience, which seems wild to me. I thought audiences didn't like that movie.
I fell asleep before the ending of the movie, like 10 minutes before the ending of the movie. Have not gone back to see the ending yet.
It's a movie that I enjoyed when I saw it, but every criticism of it is correct.
Yeah, it bored me.
You could have just said it's a movie, and that would have been an apt description.
Other clues: sex and nudity. A character is interested in holes and asks how many holes are in the body, and then another character answers his question by saying he has 7 holes. Played for comedic effect. Frightening and intense scenes. MODOK is quite odd. He has a giant head floating around with tiny arms and legs, and especially when he's got his mask on, he may frighten younger viewers. Violence and gore. Attacks on quantum beings and other creatures show flying vessels firing on the ground as they run for cover, and soldiers start shooting at them. Kari's up to 22. Josh moves into second place at 9, Lloyd at 8, Marty at -2.
How?
played myself the marvel.
Josh, would you like a movie from 1978, 2005, or 2009?
We all know what to do here. 1978.
1978. 1978 for 5 points under profanity. Strong profanities like fuck used infrequently. One use of the Spanish term "Heo de la chingada," son of a bitch. YouTube has it edited for free. I really feel like I butchered the Spanish in that clue. Marty, what do you think this movie is?
I'm trying to remember if they spoke Spanish in this movie at any point in time. Suspiria is my guess.
Josh, what do you think?
Blazing Saddles.
It is not Blazing Saddles. It is not Suspiria, which I'm pretty sure is set in Italy.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
Nick, there's a lot of languages going on in that movie.
There sure are. That is a movie I just
It's-
finally watched for the first time.
It's set in, I think, Germany.
Yeah,
Is
but-
it Germany?
Yes, but directed
Okay.
by Italian dude.
Fucking pleb.
I only just saw it last month, and I can't remember most of it.
You only just saw Suspiria?
Yeah, and I didn't love it.
Oh, Nick.
Okay,
that's
I'm gonna
so
go. Bye.
disappointing.
Okay, see you
Yeah.
later.
I'm gonna get off the call now. My mom says I have to leave right now.
This is my last episode ever.
I think I just don't really jive with the giallo horror movies. I think they just don't hit for me.
It's technically not a giallo.
All right, well, whatever he's doing, I don't love it.
Not saying
You're
wrong.
entitled to your you're entitled to your
Yeah.
opinion, even if it's wrong.
I knew of one scene in the movie and thought it was the climax of the movie and not the first 10 minutes of the movie.
That was like the whole tagline. It was like the only thing scarier than the last few minutes of Suspiria is the rest of Suspiria.
I mean, the only way I agree with that is that, yeah, the last 10 minutes sucked, but also so did like the first, everything after that first 10 minutes.
Nick, I can't believe our friendship dies tonight.
Friendship dies tonight.
That was a Giallo by Argento back in '72.
Thank you,
Friendship dies
Josh.
tonight. I'm just making sure that everybody knows that.
4 points under frightening and intense scenes. A dog is shown dead. There's no blood or any wounds of any kind on the dog. It's just on the floor with its hind legs up. This is more comedic than anything.
Is it though?
For 3 points under sex and nudity, lots of sex talk and scenes with topless women pictures, and a sexually suggestive scene with nuns being cavity searched. Josh has a guess. Anybody else?
Oh, I'm probably wrong.
What do you think, Josh?
This airplane?
It is not Airplane.
Damn it.
For 2 points under violence and gore, Pedro and Man are pulled over by a cop. When the cop asks for Man's name, he vomits. Seen, not heard. Pedro jokes to the cop that Man's name is Retching Noise. For 1 point under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, this is a stoner movie. Cheech and Chong are famous for their constant antics involving smoking marijuana. 2 of you are going to take a guess on the Cheech and Chong movie. Kari, what do you think?
The Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke.
Josh, what do you think?
Oh, with Up in Smoke too.
No, it's the first one. Yes, it's Up in Smoke.
Okay.
Gosh.
Well, the other choice was the Corsican brothers. And
Would have gotten the subtext wrong per usual.
47% critic, 82 audience.
that's because they were all stoned.
Of course. Kari at 23. Josh and Lloyd tied in second at 8. Marty at -3. Where are we now? Josh picked that one. That means we're down to our last 4 movies. 1 more for each of you. Kari, would you like a movie from 1995, 2011, or 2017?
Let's do 2011.
Let's do 2011. From 2011 for 5 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, teenagers are seen drinking at a barn party to the point of inebriation. For 4 points under sex and nudity, in the beginning, a girl says she, quote, hates all that torture porn shit, referring to horror films.
Same.
For For 3 points under violence and gore, definitely the most violent and graphic movie of the franchise to date. But then I don't know what that date is. Marty has a guess. Anybody else? Kari has a guess. Josh has a guess.
Wait. No.
Okay. Kari, what do you think?
Scream 4?
Marty, what do you think?
Scream 4, and I was gonna guess it on the last clue, so I'm gonna be salty if it's right.
Marty, get ready to be salty with your 0.
Hey.
This is Scream 4.
What's up?
That is 60% critic, 56% audience. It's right on that edge. I didn't even explain at the top, if you're not familiar with Rotten Tomatoes. 60 and up is fresh. 59 and under is rotten. So it's basically the same score, but that little wiggle room. I think they're both wrong. It's fun.
I mean,
it's
they're both
lower
wrong.
end. It's in my second half of the movies, but it's fun. Where are we now? Kari at 26, Josh and Lloyd at 8 each, Marty at 0. We got 3 movies left to not make this a runaway for Kari.
I don't like running, so please somebody else get some points.
Oh, and the other clues, violence and gore. A teenage girl stabs another in the stomach. We see her twist the knife before stabbing her again. And frightening and intense scenes. The ghost face killer in this film is very menacing and creepy and often pops out of shadows in jump scares.
And he doesn't even rap.
Okay, Lloyd, I go to you now. Would you like a movie from 1967, 1978, or 2006?
2006.
2006. Okay, 2006 for 5 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking. A man gives a cigarette to a monkey and records it, saying this would be on the Discovery Channel.
Oh my God, what a clue.
Oh, wait.
You hope he's talking about the animal, otherwise that's racist.
Well, you know I wouldn't put that movie.
I know. Talking about the clue writer, not you.
For 4 points under violence and gore, a man puts his hands on the hot oven and burns his hands. He youches in pain and is seen wearing a cast later. For 3 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, one character sells marijuana from his home for a living, and we see a bong sitting on a table where 2 men are seated. The water is dirty and has apparently been used recently.
I'm not going to make the joke. No, not going to do it.
For 2 points under sex and nudity, an older woman talks to a young man about having performed sexual acts on a number of famous actors. A young man tells an older woman that it's time for mutual oral sex, using a numerical term. A man makes a sexual gesture with his tongue toward the crotch of a doll. A man and a woman kiss.
One extreme to the other.
That clue is a lot more descriptive than it had to be. Numerical term.
Using a numerical term. You can guess which one.
Nice.
Just
Lastly, for 1 point under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, even the grandmother and her roommates end up high, mistaking Alex's pot for tea, and get drunk in one scene. Everybody's raising their hand except for Lloyd.
Clearly, I'm the one.
What do you think this movie is?
Pineapple Express?
Marty, what do you think?
Grandma's Boy, which again was gonna guess on the last clue.
Josh, what do you think?
Grandma's Boy.
This movie is Grandma's Boy. 15% critical, 85% audience.
Again,
A difference of 70%.
Not gonna lie, never seen it.
good movie. Enjoyed it.
Why wouldn't you lie, Lloyd?
It's gonna protect his legacy.
There we go.
All right. Well, that puts Kari at 25, Josh at 9, Lloyd at 8, Marty finally in the positives for the first time in this game at 1 point. 2 movies remain. Marty, you get to pick this one. Would you like a movie from 1980, 2008, or 2017?
2017.
2017.
So close.
From 2017, penultimate movie for 5 points under frightening and intense scenes. A man got eaten alive by a horde of zombie-like creatures. He screamed for several seconds, but no blood is shown.
How did he not bleed? That sounds like a bloody thing to happen to you.
For 4 points under violence and gore, a woman impales a group of characters on her elongated fingers. Josh has a guess. Anybody else?
I don't know.
Josh, what do you think?
This is the Wolverine.
This is not the Wolverine. You said it so confidently, though.
It
I
is
felt like it
confident.
might be.
Yeah, well, you know, I just lost my mouse.
How long has it been since that woman cut her nails?
I didn't say elongated fingernails. I said elongated fingers.
Oh, I
Oh.
was thinking Lady Deathstrike.
Uh-huh. For 3 points under violence and gore, it's implied that a man is eaten alive by a large baby.
Fucking movie.
Baby.
It's a big
Lot's
baby.
happening in this movie.
That's a big baby. It's gotta be Kirby.
Is this like one of my sleep paralysis dreams? Like, what is this?
I mean, I feel like the next clue is either a giveaway or you won't know it.
Okay.
For 2 points under frightening and intense scenes, a man fuses his young daughter and their dog into a chimera.
God damn it, Nicholas. I was gonna guess this a few clues again. I need to listen to my fucking gut.
I guess one person knows it. Marty, go ahead and tell them what this is.
This is the really terrible Full Metal Alchemist movie.
This is the live action Full Metal Alchemist movie.
I came so close to guessing it on the finger clue. And then I didn't because I was like, there's more than one. Like, you're just being a fucking weeb. There's more than one character.
There was a live action Full Metal. Why?
There are
Yeah.
multiple
bad.
live
It's
action.
really
It's
bad.
but they are all Japanese. This one is 28% critics, 71 audience.
There's a lot of
I
weebs
think,
on Rotten
like-
Tomatoes. It's not good.
Yeah.
I feel, part of me is
having-
shocked I don't know this, and another part of me is grateful that I don't know this.
Having never watched the series, I watched the movie and enjoyed it for like 35 to 40 minutes until everything went off the rails and I stopped being able to follow it.
Brotherhood is
Based on the description alone, that movie, it makes Spring Breakers sound sane, which you should not do as a movie.
Last clue in that, to try to help people along if I could, frightening and intense themes, a group of prisoners of war are consumed alive in alchemy ritual. The camera points away as it happens, but you hear them scream for several seconds.
Who the fuck was the giant baby that ate the guy?
I'm so mad because on that finger clue, I was like, huh, those are both things that happen in Full Metal Alchemist too. But like, surely there's other stuff. You're just like being a fucking anime nerd. I'm so goddamn mad because then on the next clue too, I was like, that sounds familiar. That sounds Full Metal Alchemist-y. It fully took until that clue to put 2 and 2 together. Like, no, this is just fucking Full Metal Alchemist.
It sounds like you do what I do when I hear clues to a movie that I've tried not to remember that I've seen and just hope that it isn't it.
The anime is really good for the record. Watch Brotherhood.
Yeah, fair.
I've heard good things. It's so hard for me to commit to any show with more than like 12 episodes.
It uses every episode.
Then you'll want to avoid Dragon Ball Z at all
I
costs.
sure will.
Update. I think I won my UFC fight, and I'm fighting the same. I'm
congrats.
fighting the same guy. I'm fighting the same guy Saturday.
Congrats!
I'm glad you won something tonight.
Yeah, I know. I'm fighting the same guy.
Is
Saturday,
that a
apparently.
dig, Nick?
I will say this. If Josh or Lloyd manages to get the 5-point clue on this one, there's still technically a game.
All right.
Kari's at 25. Josh and Lloyd are at 8 each. Marty at 3. Josh, I believe you're picking this last one.
Yeah.
Would you like a movie from 2005, 2008, or...
You bastard.
I miss 2005, 2008, 2004 is the other one. So 2004, 5, or 8, Josh.
Let's go with 4. Let's go with 4.
Okay.
Just deliberately avoiding anything that's near. Josh. It's not right, but it's okay.
I went through the movie list twice, and I had 4 movies remaining, and they were all in the 2000s.
Okay, all right. So it wasn't a hatchet job.
So I was just trying to figure out, all right, am I going to go with the 2004 one or the 2009 one? All right, 2004, last movie of the night. For 5 points under frightening and intense scenes. While this is a G-rated picture, there are some scenes that can be too scary or frightening for young kids. Think twice before letting your kids see it. Josh is going for it because he has to. What do you think, Josh?
National Treasure.
It is not National Treasure.
Oh.
For 4 points under 6 in nudity, the boy tells the hobo that he's looking for a girl, to which the latter laughs and says, "Ain't we all?" mistaking it as the boy wanting to find a girlfriend.
Oh my god. What a clue. Oh my god.
All right, for 3 points under violence and gore, the conductor yanks the fireman's beard after noticing that his yelps of pain can scare animals away from the track.
Oh god, I'm gonna hate myself for not getting it.
We've got 3 hands up. Marty, what do you think?
I'm trying to recall
Most famous
which
reindeer of all?
movie with the train came out in 2004.
That was Rudolph.
And I'm going to say the Polar Express, because there's a hobo in that movie.
Kari, what do you
Ed.
think?
Polar Express.
Josh, what do you think?
Pineapple Polar Express.
This is the Polar Express. 56 critical, 64 audience. Another one right on the edge there. Other clues in that, frightening and intense scenes. In one scene, the train's brake is broken, causing it to go at high speeds down an extremely steep hill. Screams of fright and frightened faces are shown. And frightening and intense scenes, the movie reveals adults' unbelief in Santa Claus.
Yeah, Floyd. Sorry to tell you.
Lloyd, is this the first you're hearing about this?
Sadly not.
We play this movie at work on like the last day before vacation so frequently in so many different programs that I've ever worked in. And it's always the one day of the year that I'm like, yeah, like, fuck them kids. Talk to your coworkers. Go on your phone. So I've never actually watched this movie, but I've been in the same room as it playing many times.
So I met my wife.
On the Polar
Guess
Express.
what, children? That was
looking
those
for
all
a
the
girl,
parents.
Josh?
They actually do love you.
Just
Did the hobo help you find her?
he did.
I I made the mistake last week of reading the movies we didn't get to before realizing that there would be a tiebreaker needed. There won't be a tiebreaker needed tonight.
Oh, really? Come on.
So the movies we have
really
left that we didn't get to, the original Piranha, American Gigolo, Camelot, Camp Rock, Jaws 2, Pocahontas, War of the Worlds, and Daybreakers, which blew my mind.
Jaws 2
Daybreakers
is
a fantastic movie.
So is Jaws 2.
Jaws 2 I did just see for a first time, and I agree with the audiences on that.
It's much better than people give it credit for.
I give it enough credit for how.
If it was not a Jaws movie, it would have been fantastic.
It also teaches an important lesson about why it's important to vote in local elections. Because it's the same mayor from the first movie in the second one.
It's the same plot as the first movie, but instead of getting the two most interesting characters, you get a bunch of screaming children.
One of them was dead.
Okay,
work before vacation.
The idea that it's better than people give it credit for, fair. Star Wars Attack of the Clones is better than people give it credit for. It's still not good.
All right, let's move to the final question.
Yeah, final question.
Kari's at 28 points, which means you can risk anywhere between 0 and 28 points. Josh is at 10 points. Lloyd is at 8 points. Marty is at 6 points. It's a fight for second. Right now, I want you to message me your bet on how much you think you know about this topic. Rotten Tomato differences. I can't give you much more than that without giving things away. All right.
Josh, every once in a while your head lines up so that you have cat ears like in the appropriate spot. And it makes me so happy every time it happens. It's very nice.
I've got Josh and Kari. Did anybody else send me anything?
I missed the topic, I think.
The topic is just movies that on Rotten Tomatoes with differences.
So that's just topic. All right.
I sent it to you before you finished the question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just didn't pop up for me until like just now. All right, everybody's got their bets in. One of the types of movies recently that seem to have the biggest disconnect between critics and audiences are DC movies. So I would like to ask you the percentage difference between the audience score and the critical score of the recent film Black Adam. I don't need you to tell me who scored it higher. I just want you to tell me the difference between the two scores. Whoever gets closest gets their points. If you get it exactly right, I'll give you an extra 3 points. Got Marty, I've got Kari, I've got Josh.
God damn it. Okay.
All right, everybody is in. Kari has said 49%. Josh has said 63%. Marty said 72%. Lloyd 74%. Critical rating of Black Adam is 38%. Audience score is 88%. It's been I do this every once in a while. I say if you get it exactly right, you get the extra 3 points. I'm going to say if you were off by 1 like Kari was, you get the extra 3 points. Kari's off by 1 point, which is close enough in my book. That means Josh bet 10 points, loses all 10 points.
Hey man, this with nothing. I'm gonna leave with nothing.
Lloyd, Marty bet all 6 points, loses all 6 points. Lloyd, second place, my dude, risk 0. Kari, Risked 3 points, gets an extra 3 points. That means our final score tonight. Josh and Marty in third place with 0 points each. Lloyd in second with 8. But our winner and the first person to recommend a second movie to me, 34 points, is Kari Taylor, who I think we can say dominated this month.
I was not expecting it.
So, Kari, if you want to claim your prize, you got a few minutes to think about it. I'll ask you for it. Don't worry about it. If you want. Before we go, thank you all so much for doing this. If there is anything you want to promote, anywhere you want to be found, or just any last words, Lloyd, I'll start with you.
Per usual.
Actually, no. Why am I doing this? You're the one person I shouldn't be starting with. Josh, what do you think? You have anything you want to talk about?
Really? No.
Okay.
Just I should probably take up some time so Lloyd gets less time.
Yeah, you know this game. It ends on a set time. We never go over. See Josh in Lawrence, Massachusetts on September 7th at 7 p.m.
Live on stage for the first time in a long time.
Josh's show was, I believe, the last show I did, or the second to last show I did before the pandemic. And now I get to finally bring him on one of mine.
Thanks.
Marty, you got anything you want to say?
I bake shit.
Yeah, you do.
On Instagram at madeby.marty. I am no longer depressed, so I am voting for him again. My depression is cured. The Midwest stays winning. Very proud of Kari. Also, if you're on Tinder, I will definitely be adding that phrase that you said earlier. Yeah. I don't really have anything to say besides that. It's nice to be taken down a peg every once in a while. Last week, Jenny Ismay called me mean. This week, I zeroed out on points. So,
the duality of man.
You win some, you lose some.
Now, let's go to our second place winner. Lloyd, what would you like to tell people about?
I would like to tell people about the fact that I find it to be something wrong with the universe where I have more points than Marty. But I'm willing to let that subside because I guess that's how the game works.
That's what happens when you're not competitive. You can beat Marty sometimes.
Ground, sir. See you make it to September 7th.
Not competitive has damn near won me this game in the past. Anyway. What I like to promote is I promote that episode of this show that hosted by you've heard me say it 1,000. You know, go watch it.
Real quick, I can't remember if I mentioned, but LC also going to return as my assistant on this live show.
Yes, man, you should see her on that and tell her how great her episode that she hosted was that Lloyd won't shut up about. Also, I'm going to be in South Boston at Capo Restaurant doing comedy this Wednesday. I'm going to be at Karaoke doing the Michael Jackson Act in Boston this Thursday. I'm going to be in Hampton Beach, New Hampshire this Saturday, also doing the Michael Jackson Act because apparently they let me get away with it and don't send me back here in a body bag for it. New Hampshire has its okay points if you don't stay there too long.
Yeah, New Hampshire will let Michael Jackson keep going.
Yeah, which seems both weird but also on brand for New Hampshire. Also, I am on all the social medias at Lloyd Legacy 617, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Threads. If you're not on any of those, don't start now. But if you are, I can be found there. And I'm on Facebook at Lloyd Legacy Sharp. Go there. You'll find out where I'll be for the rest of the time that I'm not on this screen, and that's really all you need to know about me. Everything else is kind of just blah.
Lloyd, thank you so much for being more than blah.
I'll take it.
Finally, our winner, the 2 questions to you. 1, if there's anything you want to talk about, and 2, if there's any movie you would like to make me watch.
I mean, I don't have anything really to promote. Other than if you want to follow me on like Instagram or Letterboxd, I have the same username for both. It's just KARILT34. I don't update those probably as much as I should. But go ahead and follow me. I'm not going to stop you. And I guess I thought I would say the Barbie movie, but you already said that you're going to try and see it. So that just feels like a cop out.
I mean, you're welcome to.
Piss off the Twitter bros.
But I also was like, I could also make Nick probably suffer a little bit, even though you've been so nice to me on this show. And I might recommend a movie that I think is so bad that it's somewhat good, but probably not very good. Because I just watched it again via Riff Tracks last week. But Samurai Cop.
That is one that I missed during my phase of loving bad movies. And I guess I am finally going to watch Samurai Cop. Yeah, that was one that I was excited to watch like 10, 15 years ago and never got around to it. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for your suggestion, Kari. If you want to see what I thought of that movie, you can follow me on Letterboxd or in the Facebook group I post it, and watch again next week, and I'll talk about it on the show. Thank you once again to my guests, Kari Taylor, Josh Poirier, Lloyd Legacy Sharp, and Marty Viscosi. I'm Nick Martucci. You can find me on all social media at Blundering Idiom. Find the show on Facebook, search Inappropriate Movie Database, or click the link in the description of this video. Instagram and whatever Twitter is until Twitter dies at IMDb Game. Also, if you have a Blue Sky code, you should give a nice friend a Blue Sky code. I would like to be there now, please. If you like this show, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, watch old episodes, send them to your friends. If you'd like to be on the episode, I will start booking for August shows this week. We do this show every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on this channel. I love having new people on, so if you want to be a part of it, please come on. And again, going to keep talking about it. If you're in the area, Lawrence, Massachusetts, September 7th at 7 p.m., tickets available now. Tickets are limited. Go to the Facebook or to anywhere else and buy a ticket. Let's sell this out so they let me do more of them. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.